Alright, today is November 1st of 2022, and this marks basically the 2-year anniversary of when I started on the boat. Now, I had a 7-month break in there waiting for these things to get built. So, I actually haven't been working on it for 2 years, but anyway, by the calendar it's been 2 years. And you can see here, I'm working on putting, getting the cabinets in, the galley cabinets in here. And this is all just roughed in at the moment, but I wanted to make sure I fully understood how this this stove was going to attach in there and what I needed to do to get it attached. And it's just 4 screws up here, and and then it hangs in there. But I wanted to get all my measurements, see how much cabinet overhang I needed to put here and whatnot. These 1-bys here are simply simulating the face frames that are going to go on the cabinets, so I get it the the proper depth and whatnot. But yeah, I don't really see any particular reason I need to box this in. In fact, it's probably better if it's not boxed in. A little better heat dissipation, I would guess, if it's not fully boxed in here. I watched a couple of videos on YouTube and looked at what they were doing, like in RVs, and they were not boxing them in. They were just pretty much open to the cabinets inside there. So that's probably what I'll do too. But I was getting ready to make some patterns for cutting the countertop out, and I needed to know what depth here to bring the lip out. Of course, it won't be here, but and my sink is supposed to be here tomorrow, so I can get the sink framed in over here. Get that figured out tomorrow, and then I can probably get the countertop at least rough cut. And you can see here I got my stairway, and I'm going to call this a stairway. It's not really a ladder, it's not quite a stairway either, but it's not bad. I was thinking about maybe going with 10-inch treads on here, but I don't think that would really be of much advantage. As you're walking up it, your toes do hang over just a little bit, I guess, as you're coming up it. So it wouldn't hurt to put, I don't know. And I don't know if I'm going to leave this stuff the way it is or redo it. But anyway, it's in there to the point where I can test it anyway, go up and down it, and see, here's the platform that you'll step. The pilot house will be up here. You'll step out of the pilot house onto this platform, turn 90 degrees, and you'll come down from here. And it's pretty easy to go down it forwards. You're still probably going to want handholds, which you're going to want regardless, but yeah, it's not bad. So, and the spacing and everything I think is going to be fine. This refrigerator and freezer that are going to be built in an island around them, that'll be a little wider because you got to frame up and whatnot around them. But it can go that way forward just a little more. You keep about 18 inches through here to get through here. The range, this will be good because you don't want a whole lot of room here, because if you're at sea, you want a little room to, or you want to tighten up that you're not flying around back here. You want something to lean against. And same thing with the sink here. If these actually go forward just a little bit, if you're at the sink, it'll give you something to lean against here as well. In this area down here, which I was kind of concerned about being kind of a dead area because of the stairs coming down here, it's still accessible. You got a duck to get in here unless you're short, 5 feet 5 or something like that, I suppose. But it's still doable. I mean, you can still, whether I put cabinet storage in here or actually put, some kitchen devices in here, I don't know, but it's accessible enough. If nothing else, you can set things there and then pull them out when you need to use them. But yeah, I think this is going to work all right. I don't see any real issues so far. That I've been working on, and I also got my bathroom walls put up. I had it framed in the other day. I think I showed you that. And I got the plywood up. It's 1/2-inch plywood. This one here, it's a little over 4 feet here. So what I did was I butt glued with epoxy, thickened epoxy, this joint. And then I put a little strap, 1/4 inch plywood I glued onto it also. So that's plenty strong. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to insulate in here. So I didn't want a real thick strip on here either to interfere with my insulation. But yeah, it's gives you a better feel for what it's going to be like. Probably gonna put a small overhead hatch in, and then another smaller hatch, porthole going out there, so you can get some decent ventilation in here and a bit of light, so it's not so claustrophobic. It's, you know, not bad sized. There's enough room to come in and close the door and stand up, and the sink will be over here. I'll build a little sink into the corner here. So there's gonna be plenty of room for the sink, and you know, a little bit of cabinetry in here, and plenty of room to use the head and to work in here. Not huge, but it's certainly adequate, and by sailboat standards, it's probably going to be spacious. So yeah, this gives us a better idea what it's going to be like in this cabin too, and I think it's going to be just fine. Again, a bunk down here, probably a bunk up here, whether it's just a temporary type of pole cot or pole bed, I don't know what you call it, but or if I put a permanent berth in up there, I don't know, but I should easily be able to get 2 berths in here and still have a little room for a little table, desk, and a seating area back here. Of course, this is going to be the bulkhead here, going across here, the crash bulkhead goes from there to there. So there's 4 feet in there for a little desk area and some cabinets and whatnot up there for storage. And then there'll be storage underneath the bunks, or the bottom bunk anyway. There'll be storage there too, so you know. And then there's going to be storage underneath here too, which you're not going to probably use as a day-to-day, you know, somebody that's staying in here isn't going to use it, but more permanent, semi-permanent storage. And yeah, this is going all right. My stove came in yesterday, and it's an RV stove. It's not a marine stove, so it's cheaper and probably better. Not gimbaled. I don't really see the need for a gimbal on a power boat. Yeah, so it should be fine. I may try to make some sort of pot holders, doohickeys to hold the pots. The grate for the top of this is pretty substantial, so I could almost maybe even make something that clamps onto that for pot holders, but yeah, we'll see. Again, the only time you're probably really going to need that is if you're at sea, and yeah. But yeah, we're making progress. I got another leak in here. I put a piece of newspaper underneath this fitting here where it was leaking, and I redid a couple of the fittings using tape rather than just the goo, and it's still leaking from somewhere. So I'm gonna have to investigate that just a little more again. It's not leaking much, but just a smidgen. That's the problem with pipe fittings. You always think, well, you get them snug, and then can I go one more turn or not? And you figure, I better not, you know, and you wind up not getting them tight enough. But the water system again is up and working fine. I've been using the sink down there every day, so the water system in the boat is getting a test, getting a run through. But anyway, that's all I've been up to here the last few days. Oh, I did have something else I could show you. Yeah, getting the plywood up into the boat now is getting more challenging. I set a ladder up here at the lowest point of the top of the hull, and I go up the ladder, the sheet of plywood, then kind of slide it up on top of the deck beams, and yeah, that's about the only way you can do it. But yeah, there's the sink. I think I showed you that already too. But one other thing I got is my fuel sensor for the fuel tank, for the day tank. And this is kind of a neat little thing. It's not digital, it's mechanical, but it's got a little float here with a magnet, I suppose, in it. And I put my meter on it and engaged it, and yeah, it works. As you go up, it you know, I think it trips different X number of different switches in there. So I don't know how many positions it's got. You know, 20 positions or whatever. And it reads your fuel level. Yeah, pretty spiffy. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So that'll go into that tank there. And I got an adapter on it already to go from 2-inch pipe here to the 1.5-inch pipe that this gauge sending unit requires. So, premature, but yeah, we got it. So it's good to get some of this stuff stockpiled. In fact, I've got a lot of electronic stuff already stockpiled too. I bought like a bunch of interior lights and wire and switches, and I got one of my fuse panels already, a Blue Sea fuse panel. But I got all that stuff in here. It's getting heavy. So, yeah, progress. Hopefully in about 2 years or 2 more years, we'll be getting it ready to put in the water. I don't know, we'll see. I was hoping for 2 years, but it may be 3. So long as I'm healthy enough to do this.